everyone, and welcome along to a very big brand new video where, as you can see from the title, we are today going to discuss the rumours that have been doing the rounds since last night that Jodie Whittaker will be leaving Doctor Who at the end of Series 13. So yes, I stood in this exact spot with these behind me nearly 4 years ago to discuss the official departure of Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, and it looks like we might be approaching the time to discuss Jodie Whittaker's departure from the show as well, because the Daily Mirror and The Sun posted an article, which also made it onto the front page of the Mirror as well last night, basically claiming that Jodie Whittaker will leave at the end of Series 13, a new Doctor will take on after that, Chris Chibnall will stay in the role of executive producer, so he's not moving on. It's just Jodie. And yeah, the Mirror is a tabloid newspaper, so you can take that for what it's worth. But the key thing is that the journalist who wrote this, I can't remember her name, but she is a journalist who clearly has some sort of connection with Doctor Who, because she correctly predicted Bradley Walsh was going to be in Doctor Who. She correctly predicted there would be a New Year's Day special rather than a Christmas special a couple of years ago, that there would be a Dalek in that New Year's Day special, that there'd be Cybermen and Mary Shelley in an episode in Series 12 as well. So she clearly must have some sort of insider source, and so that's why I'm very much inclined to believe her when she's claiming that Jodie is going to be leaving. Although it doesn't officially exist, it does continue to stick in with the magical 4 years, 3 series rule that we've had for both Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, where they both did 4 years in the role and 3 full series in the role. And of course, this would take Jodie to the end of her third full series as well, which is a good amount of episodes, but it's also worth bearing in mind that they've been shorter series. So whereas Capaldi had, I think, 40 episodes and Matt a few more than that, Jodie's only going to get 30 episodes if she leaves at the end of the 8 episodes for Series 13. So it's quite a substantial reduction in episodes, and for me it feels a little bit like her story's been cut short a little bit early. Like, I feel like there's still so much potential with her character, still so much more to explore and more sort of avenues to go down, particularly now that we've only got, well, we're only going to have 13 and Yaz, and now we've got Dan played by John Bishop as well, but just exploring the different dynamic that we're going to have in that sort of relationship, to then suddenly find out we've only got 8 episodes to do that and then she's going to regenerate is quite I think is quite a shame, really. I feel like there's just so much more that could be done. Now, some people have been using a quote that Jodie gave a couple of weeks ago, where she basically said that she's loving being on the show, that she's never even thought about leaving the show, and and using that as evidence that this is therefore false and she's not going to be leaving. And I want to believe that, I really do, because I really want Jodie to stay, but I remember, I looked it up as well, a article that Peter Capaldi did, or a quote that he gave about a month before he left, saying that he wanted to play the Doctor for a long time, whatever that means. He did that December 2016, then January 2017 he announced he was leaving. So my kind of word to that is, just because they've said in an article that they haven't thought about leaving, or they want to play it for ages, that doesn't mean really anything in reality, because why would they throw into speculation by going, oh yeah, I'm kind of thinking about leaving, I'm not really sure how much longer I'm going to stay on for. That just fuels the fire when it comes to speculation. So they're naturally only ever going to say, if asked about their future on the show, I want to do it forever, I want to stick with it for ages. That's just a nice easy cover. So unfortunately I wouldn't use that as sort of evidence that she's going to be staying. Yes, this is the Mirror. It is a tabloid newspaper, but they did also plaster it on the front page of their newspaper this morning, and I feel it's a bit unlikely that a story that they don't have strong sort of credibility behind, you would actually put, I know it's a tabloid newspaper, maybe I'm being too nice to them, but I feel like you wouldn't stick that on the front page if you thought it wasn't true. So where does this leave the show then? So essentially we're going to have a Series 13 that airs towards the end of this year, probably September, October time, only being 8 episodes long, and then in theory Jodie Whittaker's going to regenerate at the end of it. Whether that's at the end of the series of 8 episodes or whether they have a New Year's Day special, I'm inclined to say that it'll be a 7-episode series and a New Year's Day special, and then it'll be the New Year's Day special where she regenerates, so in about 362 days, I guess, 361 days, something like that. I would predict that's when she's going to regenerate. But into who? Now, there's no real kind of obvious candidates at the moment, I think, for the 14th Doctor, if we're going to get that. But yeah, obviously, they put the article up saying it's going to be Chris Marshall again, because he's always going to be thrown in the ring. Pointless people like Idris Elba and Gillian Anderson, like ridiculous suggestions like that are never going to happen. I personally don't have any kind of strong feelings on who I think the next Doctor should be. The only thing, maybe this is a controversial thing to say, but I feel like it's really important for the show that the next Doctor is still a woman. Because if you make the next Doctor a man, particularly a white man, then it just gives the impression that Jodie was a one-off mistake by having her as a female Doctor, and it'll just feed the Not My Doctor cruise and all that if they were to then go straight back to the original of white male, oh, he's come back to save the show because Jodie and a woman Doctor killed it sort of vibes. That will naturally, by certain sections of, you know, well, fans is a debatable word for them, but the people who are very, very critical of a female Doctor, I just feel like it needs that to be another female Doctor, and it shouldn't just be a case of just choosing a woman because of that, but I feel like that's what's needed. And after that, I think it's completely fine to choose whatever, but I just feel this next one needs to be a woman to keep the credibility of having a female Doctor. Of course, many people will say, and have said in some of the comments I've seen so far, that they much would have rather that it was Chris Chibnall who was leaving at the end of Series 13 and not Jodie, and, well, I can't say I disagree with that sentiment, it has to be said. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. We don't know how long Chris is going to stay on for, assuming he is. I always got the impression that he wouldn't really stay for very long and would only maybe stay with Jodie and then leave after that. I mean, his 5-year plan, I mean, who knows what his 5-year plan, where we're at his 5-year plan now. Like, I can't imagine his 5-year plan factored in not being able to make a series in time and a pandemic, so who knows? But at some point he's going to move on, just it doesn't look like it's going to be yet, and so presumably he's going to lead us into Series 14 and beyond. And the other question for me this does raise is, because Jodie is likely to regenerate into the next Doctor on the 1st of January 2022, assuming there's a New Year's Day special there, it's unlikely that they'll then be able to produce a whole new series to get it out within 2022, so as far as I can see, in all likelihood we'll be heading into the 60th anniversary year with a brand new unproven Doctor. Maybe they'll get a special around New Year's Day at the beginning of 2023, but there's likely that Series 14 would air in 2023, which is, you know, that's quite significant to have for such a big 60th anniversary year, a huge sort of event for the show. To have a completely new unproven Doctor lead us into that, I think is in a risk in some ways. Maybe it probably isn't an ideal solution, because you want quite a popular fan favourite Doctor in many ways to kind of lead us through that anniversary period. And I'd say Jodie Whittaker's got a pretty big fan base by now. I know there are the vocal minority who hate her, but apart from that, I think she's pretty genuinely well received, and most people would say one of the better aspects of the Chris Chibnall era, even if it's not one of your favourites. Of course, you never know, they could go down the route of exploring the Jo Martin Doctor a bit more, and maybe, you know, we can have a unique period of the show, a series where we focus on her incarnation of the Doctor, maybe for the anniversary or something, tie that all in with Timeless Child stuff and just go crazy with it all. Maybe probably be a bit too nerdy for, you know, casual fans, but it's fine. And yeah, have a series with her going around. So it's such a fascinating period to explore, the sort of pre-Hartnell Doctor, what was it all like back then, the division and all those kind of things. I really feel like that could be quite an interesting aspect to explore. So it's kind of like they've got a Doctor they're ready to use, it's just whether that actually fits in, they can sort of work the narratives out to be able to really do that. And I guess it would kind of significantly undermine the kind of, you know, the usual publicity by announcing a new Doctor rather than just using one we've kind of shock introduced in the previous series. I don't know. So the question now, of course, is if and when they will announce that. The BBC, in my opinion, made a mistake by coming out and saying that they would not comment on the future of Jodie Whittaker on Doctor Who. Rather than going, no, this is a lie, they've gone, no, we won't say anything about it, which for me was the wrong move, and the fact that they haven't denied it suggests it's true, because they can't come out and flatly lie if it was true and come out and say it's false, it's all a lie, and then it comes out to be true. But they've decided not to, they haven't come out and said it's a lie, so as far as I can read that, then it's probably true. So I think we sadly, for me, have to be preparing that for the fact that Jodie Whittaker is going to be leaving at the end of Series 13. Whether it's announced anytime soon, we don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, knowing the current Doctor Who production team, if they wait until flipping October when the whole world knows about it before actually announcing it. Because, you know, Captain Jack, we knew about that since February, that he was going to be in the New Year's Day special. They didn't announce it until the end of November, so who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see really with that. But yeah, I think we might be waiting a while for the announcement. So yes, guys, that is my thoughts. That is my update, the news, all about what's going on with Jodie Whittaker and Doctor Who. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the potential that she is going to be leaving at the end of Series 13? How would you like to see her story wrapped up? What things would you like to see done in her final series to kind of bring us to that concluding point for her Doctor? If you've got any thoughts on a 14th Doctor, let me know that in the comments below. And also, of course, your thoughts on the fact that Chris Chibnall is probably going to be staying. So yes, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, please hit the like button and that subscribe button if you're new here. But apart from that, I'll see you again very soon for a brand new video. Goodbye.